Yes, as per Latvia's latest serious report, if you see someone in mismatched clothes looking confused in the woods, maybe asking for directions, do not help them. They might be Russian agents. So, if you are planning a peaceful hiking trip in Latvia, better wear matching socks, smile at a bird, and carry zero equipment. Hello and welcome to Global News Factory. The US has issued a new warning. Russia is gearing up for a major offensive in Ukraine, a new offensive. Financial Times broke the news citing two unnamed officials. One of them says Russian commanders want to generate a big force, a new big force inside Ukraine. The other paints a dramatic picture. Putin allegedly wants to go all the way to the outskirts of Kyiv. Now, will they actually do this? Who knows? It might be posturing, it might be a real plan, but here is what I do know. This entire mess could have been avoided if the West had not moved to play geopolitical quarterback during the Istanbul negotiations almost 3 years back. Let's rewind for a second. Days after Russia's full scale invasion of Ukraine, the two countries began talks in Belarus that later shifted to Istanbul. At that time, Ukraine and Russia were inches away from reaching a deal. No concessions on sovereignty, no land swaps, just a framework to end the war. Russia put the offer on the table, but then the West kicked the table over. Why? Because the idea of Ukraine agreeing to peace without Western input bruised some very delicate egos. Fast forward to now, and the same people who screamed diplomacy are suddenly allergic to the idea. The bazooka is out, the war rages on, and nobody has a clue how to end it. The only people who even attempted to ask Russia what it would take to stop this conflict, the Trump administration. Yes, the Trump administration, the one that Western elites love to mock. They at least attempted to end this. And the Russians responded. They made their position clear. Maybe the Trump camp did not like the answer, or maybe they realized that selling Russia's demands to the rest of the West would be like selling vegan sausage at a Texas BBQ. Either way, talks have stalled again. Meanwhile, on the ground, Ukraine's military is struggling. The US admits that drones and minefields are slowing the Russians down, but also warns that Ukraine is facing a severe shortage of personnel. Well, let's do some basic battlefield math here. If you are Russia and you see a minefield, but no, there is barely anyone left behind it to defend the line. What do? You charge, carefully sure, but you go because the risk is worth the reward. The harsh truth is this: manpower shortages are as lethal as ammo shortages, and no amount of optimistic Pentagon briefings can change that reality. Now let's move to Romania. 460 million euros for a motorway project connecting Arad to Doradia. The big headline? A Ukrainian construction firm will lead the project along with a Romanian partner. Now, this is historic, they say. The first time a company from Ukraine takes on an EU infrastructure project. Sure, historic, but also eyebrow raising. Romania has thousands of skilled workers, dozens of struggling local contractors, and a government that constantly complains about budget holes. But hey, let's give nearly €500 million to a Ukraine company because Brussels likes it that way. Now, forget national interest, forget economic logic. This is about optics. Solidarity, they call it. Now, here is the reality check. That 460 million euros will balloon to 800 million by the time the project is done. Because as we all know, EU infrastructure spending is a magical game where the numbers grow faster than the road gets built. This is the game. As long as the government gives some of that sweet EU cash to Ukraine, they stay in good standing with the bureaucrats in Brussels. Never mind the fact that Romania still has potholes large enough to swallow a cow. And that is why Brussels is obsessed with keeping the current regime in power, because they play along, they sign the checks, they do not ask questions. That's also why people like George Simeon and Georgescu are kept at bay. And in the end, let's move to Latvia. Oh, Latvia, the country that just looked at a group of lost hikers and said, spies! Yes, as per Latvia's latest serious report, if you see someone in mismatched clothes, looking confused in the woods, maybe asking for directions, do not help them. They might be Russian agents. Not joking. Apparently, if someone has a buzz cut, a radio, or God forbid, a medical kit, they are likely not on a camping trip. They are on a secret mission to destroy Latvia with sloppiness. Now, who knew a bad fashion sense was now a national security threat? Latvia's advice is straight out of a low-budget spy movie. Imagine if your big tip is, look out for people who look weird and do not smile at trees. Then maybe, just maybe, you are confusing sabotage with social anxiety. Look, non-serious countries are handing out guides to survive war or disasters. Latvia, they are handing out guides on how to spot a spy dressed like he got lost in a Walmart. Now, this is not intelligence, this is paranoia in a tracksuit. So, if you are planning a peaceful hiking trip in Latvia, better wear matching socks, smile at a bird, and carry zero equipment. Or the next thing you know, someone might be reporting you as a KGB agent just because you asked where the bathroom is. And thank you very much for staying with me. You're watching Global News Factory.